Hello, welcome back to our ArchiCAD tips and tricks, lesson 5 by Michael Mukaira. In today's session, we shall be just looking at how to edit ArchiCAD libraries, modify library element to what you want it to be, how to create your own library element using the slab tool. We shall be using an ArchiCAD library element such as a bookshelf and see how we can convert it to our own custom bookshelf. Existing library into custom stroke modified library part. Now, here what we're trying to do is get an existing library and convert it into a new library or editable library path that we prefer to have. So how do we do this? One, you get an existing library. For instance, we go to the library, go and look for a bookshelf, pick it, bring it, and then we look at how do we edit this. When we look at this in 3D, this is what we have. This is the front, the side, and then we do have the back as well, like that. We might be interested in removing a number of shelves, and when we click here it's only one element, so that is a problem. So back on plan, we come and take sections around cross-section elevations along this part. Help us understand this object very well. If we take the front cross-section elevation, this is what we get, so we can copy this to the ground, and then we can be able to edit it accordingly if we do prefer to do that. Similarly, we can take that, open that, copy it, similarly take it to the ground, paste it, and you can actually do Ctrl V. And then as you can see now, they are elements, they're just lines, so meaning you can easily edit this into what you want. I can easily mark this entire section, pick the fill, first get out of groups, pick the fill, Ctrl A, and then delete. All fields will be deleted into and what will be left will be lines that can help you edit this kind of bookshelf into what you might prefer it to be. If for instance I wanted something like that, that's what I would do, and then recreate a new library part to fill this. This would help me know the width of this library part. But if you look at the kind of library part we are looking at, or the new bookshelf we are looking at, it is slightly different from this. So what we need to borrow from this kind of library part is that looking at its settings, it is 2.1 meters high, it is 1.2 in length and 400 millimeters in width. So what I will do, I'll just get my polyline, create a simple box with that kind of dimensions. You could change this maybe to bluish color. 1.2 by 400. So this is the kind of information I want to borrow from that existing library or bookshelf. And once I have this, I can actually divide it into 3 portions, so drag a copy of that, and then partition it accordingly. 800, so this would be 1.6. have this, and then I can drag another copy here. Now once I do have this, I can fill it the corners of this by 400 by 400 as well. Similar to this corner by 400. I pick one of these, take it on the side. Now I start filling that with slabs. Remember, the trick of this lesson and session is about using the slab tool. So I insert a slab there, a slab here, and another slab here. These are 3 pieces of slabs. I can take back this slab to this one, make it the display order go to the background so that I can access the top ones. Once I've done that, I can get rid of this, and I can actually have some guiding lines to let me do the rest of my work. It can be dotted line, which is easily visible. Just look for the center point and then insert it accordingly. Here we look for the center point. It might not be easily identifiable, but we shall use mathematics to find it. So we take this, since this is 400, we need 200 to get the center. Yeah, and I could change the color of this something much lighter. Now, once I do have that, I need to notice a number of things. One, I have slabs where my shelf lies. Then I have vertical members where it stands. So I have these members and then these partitioned members. So I can also copy the settings of the same slab tool, and then create these partitions for the vertical members. 20 millimeters by 400. Enter. Now once I've created such, I just drag a copy into another section. Then I can actually rotate this one also. Rotate a copy into this direction, then bring it in. Then later drag another copy from that and take it to this other side. So once I've done that, I need the center piece, which is actually divided into 3 pieces as well. So drag this copy, pick it from the center point, take it to the center point. Now remember, we need 3 pieces here. This is 400. So 400, we can get 3 pieces by dividing that into 5 portions, meaning each portion will be 80 centimeters. So I can subtract off 320 here. This gives us the 80, and then we make this, drag these 3 copies. The spacing is 160. So you can use another option. You can even use multiple copies, drag and then say multiple copies, and then we'll set by 160, and then another 320, and there we'll be having our elements. So once we have that, we can take it into 3D. In 3D, this is what we have. You can either choose to edit from this one, or because for instance this space is supposed to be actually 20 millimeters. So all I need to do is just put 20 here, and there it get my piece, this one. Then this one is also supposed to be 20, and then I can now even copy the properties of this, insert them into this one, and there I'll have my pieces, which I can later raise upwards. But before doing that, I need to have these ones also reduced to the slab level. And once I've done one, I can copy its properties and insert them in other objects as well, because they all have similar height properties. So once I do have this, it's a matter of raising. If I refer back to my image, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more copies. So back to 3D, I need to make the 5 copies of that. I'll just select all this at once, disregard the bottom member, and then move it up by, so we shall elevate, make how many, 5, and then we are spreading by 320. Now if you notice, there is a little bit of an error, especially in these ones, because the other slab is not there. So before we do that, let's correct that. This slab is actually not in the right position, because this is 300, 300, it's actually 280. So all these are not supposed to be 280, but actually 300. So that once we do raise that, it takes us to those levels accordingly. So we need to first raise this one, then it here. So now from here up to this point, it is giving us the exact 320 we wanted. And also we could bring this piece also, copy properties of that, set them to that, and make sure we are like that. So now we can easily go up the number of levels we wanted. So we shall just have this all together, excluding the bottom one, then elevate the 5 copies by 320. Now once we do have that kind of arrangement, all we need to do is actually further edit it in such a manner that we remove what needs to be removed and maintain what needs to be maintained. Okay, so if I was to look at it from this perspective, because I think this would be the right view, given that we have an arc here and then an arc the other side. So we know that this is getting out, this out, this one out, this one out, this one out, and this one out. Then here, if we look back, since we took away this one, it means it's this one which is going, and then this one going, this, that, and this. So we do have it in this form. Now once it's in this form, we can actually bring in the top slab here, which initially used to be our bottom slab. Then go and copy down and put it here, then get rid of these ones. Okay. Now from this stage, we also know that these other central members are not needed. And this one, and then these ones. So the next aspect here, it will be to a matter of extending these portions here. So I just add this slab to this section, and then similarly come here and add this one. Because it's very important to edit in 3D when you're seeing what you're changing. Then that one to that level. And similarly, come here, you extend this bottom bit accordingly. Sometimes if I don't see all the way, I just stop where you can see and then later extend. So that will be the pieces that we want. Only that the bottom one shall further be taken down into 4 pieces. So we need to move this into 4 pieces down. So we need just 3 since we already have the 4th one, and then this shall move by 40 centimeters or 4 centimeters, because this is just basically 4. And then since they are spaced, we need the structure element to hold them. So we need to drag a couple of that, extend it inwards by 30, and then pull it all the way down to the last member. And then pull it also back to this member. So if we go back on ground, we can borrow the section lines we had before up, drag a couple of those ones, and bring them here. Now looking at an elevation, this is how we have our just below ground level. So what we need to do is actually first and foremost have that group together. Otherwise, if we move it in one piece and leaving others, so we first get all that group together and then go back to ground. Look at this elevation. Then once you click here and activate all groups, everything will be selected, and this can be moved now together as a unit to the last point here. Our central member here, we need to edit it, get out of groups, edit it, and so it covers that gap also. Bottom it's okay. And we have also been aware that this is supposed to be 2.1. So let us see where 2.1 takes us. If we do this, then the height is 2.1. That's where our bookshelf should stop. So this last member here shall be extended to this point. Now, once that has been done, I go back to my 3D aspect and then start editing the colors. Just a quick review. What colors do we supposed to deal with? I have blues, violet, golden, and the reds. So once I understand that, I'll just go back to my image from my 3D model and then start editing them. These central members are all red. So I'll just go here under model, turn that into red. Actually, all these are supposed to be red. Then I understand these are very blues. So highlight all that and turn it into a royal blue. Then group it together. Sometimes it's good to group similar elements. Then pick these alons, these ones, and I think this member. Also group them and then go and edit them to this also having a similar color, which is golden. Okay, I'm left with some violets. These slabs and actually all these ones here, save for the middle one, are supposed to be violet on top. Then in the center we have red. Okay, but these last bottom ones actually have white. So instead of red, I'll look for white for that. And then that's what I get. This inside one has black. So you can do the center color, some black color. And then lastly you have the top member, which is purely white all through. So you give that one white. Once I'm done with that, you see a bit different colors, these linings. You could also edit that. Select everything, go to the slab settings and floor plan section. Change this to a light color and make all these points similar. And there I'll be having my element or my library part created accordingly. So once this has been done, the next step is to see how do I convert this into a usable library part so that next time I don't have to recreate this one. Now the trick behind that is actually simple. So you group or you pick all this together, go to 3D projection settings. Under there, make sure you're in perspective settings, not parallel settings. So under perspective settings, change this axonometric view to the top view. This angle make sure you're at 90 degrees. So come and turn this into 90 and then click OK. You can right hand click and then zoom to selection. Sometimes this first gets lost, so you can go back to plan and first look for it. Let's pick it again. Take it 3D selection. Let's get this, bring it to the window. Here it is. So once we do have this, you must make sure it is all selected together. So you go to File, under File you go to Libraries and Objects, then go to Save Selection as Object, then click OK. This will bring you a number of options. You can create a new folder if you wanted to make several objects. If it's just one, you can just rename it and say, for instance, let's call it bookshelf. I'll say B-shelf. B-shelf and then create. Save. These settings here, you can also edit them accordingly if you want to change these panes and all that. But let's do that for another time. So click OK. And then you can go back to plan. And once in plan, you go to design, then object, and click. You have your new library created and viewable like that. It has all the properties of library parts. And once we look at this in 3D, it's the same, should be the same as what we were trying to create. Okay? Look at this. If I wanted, I would have added some books here to make it more interesting and all that, but that can always be done at any other time of the design. So that's how we do create a new library part using an existing library part. And once again, today our session and lesson was about using slab tool and an existing library part to create a custom stroke modified library part of your choice. Thanks for watching, and please do subscribe for more videos like this one.